Hello folks, and welcome back to the arena, where today we have Squee and Squee's dome and Squee's toy and dome-shaped toy. And okay, it has nothing to do with Squee except for a little bit. Yeah. So we got Jaya ramp today, folks. And no, not Naya ramp, Jaya ramp. It's Jaya. It's a Temur ramp with Jaya as kind of the center themed card to everything, not to mention everything that's got Jaya on it. But nonetheless, the idea is to ramp up and just burn out your opponent. Now, I'll note some caveats along the way about the certain choices in removal and burn and all that stuff. But for now, let's go right down the list. Obviously, we're going to have Banefire in this deck, just an X Fireball basically, uncounterable if it's 5 or more, and we're just going to use it to finish off our opponent. We've got some Search for Azcanta to keep the gas going, find a way to win, just any burn spell will do sort of thing, and filter our way up to the proper curve that we need to be at. We've got 3 Thaumatic Compass to A, find lands, and B, stay alive during the late game when things start petering out. So, just kind of keeping us afloat at that point. We've got 2 Jaya's Immolating Inferno, just the next X spell, but it deals X damage to each of up to 3 targets. It's a legendary sorcery, so we need a legendary creature or planeswalker to get it to work. So, we have Squee, just so that we have that consistency. If we find Squee, then we can always ensure that we're casting Inferno. We have Chandra to do some more damage, not to mention pulling cards off the top to randomly cast, not bad. And we've got Jaya, obviously, for Jaya's Inferno. I'll just turn on the Inferno so that we can hit them pretty hard. And this is where I'll point out the little thing that Banefire would be the exception to. Our burn spells also clear the board, so just keep that in mind as we're going along. So this can deal with a planeswalker, creature, 2 creatures, that kind of thing, or 3 creatures depending on how bad we are or how good we are, you know, whatever. We've got Squee. He's just going to keep coming around. He'll be here, he'll be back, don't worry, he keeps coming around. And then we have a full playset of Fight with Fire, and this one's just a simple 10 damage as we choose amongst any targets, so it can double up as a board wipe as well. Keep that board very clear, not to mention just send the remainder damage off to our opponent. Or we can send it for 5 very early if our opponent is off to a very quick start and we want to slow them down until we can get them to our point in the game, which is much later. We've got 3 Sweltering Suns in order to just clear off early aggro, just get it out of the way and get us to our follow-up spells. So, and it has cycling if we don't need it, so great. We have 2 Grow from the Ashes as part of our ramp package in the deck, and it'll search for 1 land or 2 with kicker, and I mean, we don't have a lot of basics in the deck. If you look over here, we have an island, 3 mountains, and 2 forests. So it's not going to get much use, but it's going to be just enough. We have Chandra, of course, as I mentioned before. She can peel stuff off the top. A number of good cards are always generally good. She can add mana, which is part of our ramp package, or kill a creature if we just need to slow down our opponent early. And the emblem, usually our opponent's dead before we get to the emblem. It just, yeah. It's never going to happen, and if it does, it's very rare. Hour of Devastation, the next card, just a 5 mana, 5 damage to everything except our opponent. That will affect our Chandra, our Squee, and our Jaya. Just keep that in mind, so you play it, you know, you play it with that in mind, that it will take out them, or knock them down. Take your pick on how your situation's going. So there's some risk behind this one, and just be aware of it. Then we have Jaya, the center of the deck. So 3 red is a tall order, but that's what the ramp gets us to, is to try and get us to the 3 red. Chandra makes it extremely easy as well. So her +1 it adds 3 red, and you can spend it only on instant and sorcery spells. Namely, usually if you want to slam her on 5 very easily, you're going to have the 3 red to a Sweltering Suns to make sure that you can get away with it. And then her next +1 is discard out to 3 cards, then draw that many cards, so she keeps us milling through the deck very quickly. And her emblem, believe it or not, happens a lot. You can cast instants and sorceries from the graveyard, and if they're cast that way, they get exiled instead. So, yeah, our opponents generally get us down to single-digit life totals by the time we get Jaya down and Ultimate, and so they don't generally respect Jaya, and they just go towards you. Pardon me. And so then we just Ultimate and take over. I mean, a lot of people do not respect Jaya. Just keep that in mind if you're interested in this deck. But yeah, it works, and then you win. Then we have 4 Hour of Promise, and it searches for up to 2 land cards, and if we control 3 or more deserts after that, we get to make 2/2/2 black zombie creatures. So they're just there as chump blockers to buy us some time, or tied with the removal into board wipe, we can clear a board and send them on in for a few extra points of damage. Spring Mind, well, Springside will get us a basic land and put it into play tapped. Now, I mentioned the very low count of basic lands. Basically, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 ramp spells, and one of them, and 2 of these ramp spells happen to get 2. So yes, it's overkill. It's very much overkill. Just keep that in mind. That a lot of times you'll be doing stuff like discarding to Jaya Ballard in those instances. So that's where it mitigates the problem. And then with all of that, we have Star of Extinction at the very top. And pretty good for clearing away a big board, or really good at, say, our opponent's low to the ground. We get to 7 mana pretty easily. They just hit their 3rd because they didn't really need it. And let's just take that 3rd away, plus whatever else they happen to throw out at us. So that happens a lot. We land destruction them, get a couple Star of Extinctions, and put them into extinction. But yeah, 20 damage to everything, except your opponent, sadly. But that also means that you have to watch out for your Planeswalkers once again. Jaya Ballard, this is a great spell if you get to Ultimate her, because you can star and Ultimate, star. You know, you work it how you want, and you can get up to like 4 stars. And I've cast 4 stars in a row and left my opponent just whimpering. Mostly because I'd had Star, Hour of Devastation, and ramp spells in that particular Ultimate. It happens. But at least, you know, declare dominance a little bit. Anyways, for the land package, relevant lands are Ipnu Rivulet, 4 of them. Now, you're probably not going to mill. You probably almost always have the out to burn out your opponent. But the mill option will be there in that corner case, plus they're untapped deserts. So they stick in for that reason alone. Got an island, a Desert of the Fervent, so that we have a desert to search up with Hour of Promise in the red sources. Since we cannot run the other one for some reason, like a whole bunch of Red Deck Wins players ruined the fun for everyone. But anyways, we got 3 mountains beyond that, a Desert of the Indomitable for the green cycling. Usually it's going to be cycle, occasionally not. Basically, it doesn't get cycled if it's in our initial curve, or we need just 1 more mana to fire off something like Fight with Fire. And then we have 2 forests, a Hash Up Oasis, which could come in conditionally to Squee and the Hour of Promise tokens. So just keep it in mind as tech that is an option available. We have a Spirebluff Canal, intended to mostly be able to get Search for Azcanta down while still working up the double red for Sweltering Suns, that kind of thing. Okay, after that we have 2 Sulfur Falls, 4 Rootbound Crags, 2 Sheltered Thickets, a Hinterland Harbor. I don't know how I built this mana, but apparently it functions, so just keep that in mind. We have an Arch of Araska and a Field of Ruin. Scavenger Grounds is one of those ones I considered, but it's how many brown lands do I want to have? And so I conceded that I'm not dealing with the graveyard, and I'm just going to keep exploding things. decide how you want it to be. If you feel more comfortable having brown lands in your deck, by all means, go ahead, take a look and see if that's for you. But I decided to keep it pretty minimal at just 2 of them. Because Archer Verazca is just that perfect thing to search up with Hour of Promise to get City's Blessing almost instantly. And have it available throughout the game. Anyways, that's the deck. Just ramp up, dome your opponent, don't play their game. You know, you do a little back and forth and you say, I'm done, I'm bored, I'm going to kill you now. So let's see how it does. Alright, we're on the draw against Arton. I'd like to note that I'll have the deck list linked down below, the import deck list, alongside having in my Discord if you want to take a look there. Now, here's an issue where we have our Sweltering Suns on 3, which is ideal to have. We're on the draw, so the deck is primarily red. We should be generally okay. Should. 2 deserts makes it so that an Hour of Promise at any time is alright. Missing a color is not where we want to be unless it's generally blue. We don't need blue too badly. Scrap Heap Scrounger, our mortal enemy with this deck. Absolute mortal enemy. And we drew another blue source. Of course. I say we barely need blue and blue shows up. But that's okay. I guess we can Sweltering Suns, clear a board, that kind of thing. See what our opponent does here. I mean, if they're only hitting with that, that's great. In this case, with the way the lands are going, we're just gonna do this, grab our red this way, and have the Sheltered Thicket for later. Because we still have Fight with Fire this way. Our opponent hasn't provided an insane amount of pressure yet, but we'll see what happens. Glintsleeve Siphoner is kind of that turn where we kind of want to take them out now. Alright, but they don't have the energy required to do it, so I think we just roll it again. And go grab another red. The pressure's there, but it's not insane. Okay, we have to discard a card. It's just going to be an Ipnu Rivulet. We have plenty. So our opponent hits us again. A ramp spell makes life a lot easier based on how the hand functions. But in any case, opponent hits us. They got the energy. And they're going to say we're done with things here. Now we could blow up their stuff, or we could fire down the Hour of Promise. I did it very... You know what? Just exile your thing. You exile your Glintsleeve for you. And we don't need this, so let's just clear it. We don't need to play at instant speed. That's just slowing down the game for now. Yeah, fine. That doesn't bother us. Okay, Rootbound Crag, but we want to probably fire off this Ipnu Rivulet so that we can grab the Arch at the same time. Our opponent's got to be mono removal or 3 drops. Don't know. But we got to be a little cautious about things here. Discards a push. Well, I'm glad he doesn't have that for right now. So here we're going to probably just grab Arch and Desert of the Fervent. Get those zombies out, flip the compass. And now we're in a better spot. Did I not have the... I didn't play the Ipnu Rivulet. I'm an idiot. Alright, well, whatever. Untap your thing. So Ballista is where we fear things, but not that much, honestly. So yeah, I made a small error there in forgetting which lands to put down. In any case, we have some Jaya Ballards. How does that affect us right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And no creatures in the yard, so I think we just make sure that we tap our deserts so that they don't get queued on us. And kick a Fight with Fire. 2 and 8 to you. It tapped everything but the one. Auto tap, man. Trying it out. It's gonna get me killed. Now let's see what our opponent's doing. Gonna do a little live fast, okay. But they have to discard, and they discard a land. Not bad for us. I think it's about time for a explosion. Our opponent was going to explode either way. We had Jaya's Immolating Inferno. Also, they discarded a land when they're looking for lands. Tough. Like, I guess they wanted to keep all their gas? I don't know what the deal was. Whatever, green-black can function on 2 mana just fine, so I'm giving them no credit. Alright, on the play we have Spirebluff Forest. That gives us Search for Azcanta / Thaumatic Compass, and maybe, just maybe, I think we'd start with Search and then try to flip a 3rd land to a Spring. So we're going to keep this anyway. And then we'll eventually get our Compass down. But a Spring... That said, Spring into, let's just play the Spirebluff for now. If we draw a land here, an untapped land, then we can Compass first. Harsh Scrutiny, it's going to take nothing. The only creature in our deck that they can duress away is Squee, so they couldn't get anywhere. We didn't draw a land, by the way, folks, so we're going to start with Search. And them starting with Harsh Scrutiny tells me that I probably want to be able to fetch up spells on a whim anyway. Kitesail Freebooter, going to be taking away something. If they take our Spring, we can cast Compass. If they take our Compass, we can cast Spring. Either way, Inferno is going to eventually take that thing out. Our Promise, then they're getting to some lofty goals. Alright, bin that and draw a mountain. And I think, yeah, we just drop the Compass. This way, if they strip our entire hand, at least we can put some lands in it. That's the idea, anyway. Yeah, I'm just playing stuff you can't deal with, buddy. Hope it doesn't bother you. Implement of Malice. Stitcher Supplier. What is your deck? I'm going to guess... it doesn't matter. Library. I suppose I could have graveyarded that in the attempt to actually get a land. That's something that's possible. Either way, we have Spring Mind available. We have our double red, so let's get our double blue for the Mind half. Opponent's not frightening us too much yet. The Implement of Malice, Duress. Our opponent, just no. They're going to be out of toys very soon, and we have Search for Azcanta, so whatever. Scrap Heap Scrounger, of course, our mortal enemy comes back out to play. Okay. Discard Squee. So we want to land here, if we can help it. He didn't take our Hour of Promise. Hinterland Harbor's fine enough. So the entire purpose behind this, even without deserts in play, which we're going to pick up some deserts, by the way. We're going to grab a Rivulet, and we're going to grab the Arch for now. And we can grab 2 deserts later, but at least we have the Arch to draw cards and counteract our opponent a bit. So now we have the Spire for the Scrap Heap Scrounger. We also have Mind available to muck up our opponent's plans. But these cards are in the graveyard, so casting them's not a very reliable plan. Lost Legacy? You're going to take Squee? What are you naming with Lost Legacy? He's going to soon find out that the Squee is not where he wants to be, but Spring Mind maybe. He took Spring Mind. Alright, well, that clears our graveyard down a little bit, by the way. Ah! Stupid Lost Legacy! You're too much of a distraction. Graveyard. Ah! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You want to tap every land that doesn't count here. Squee. City's Blessing. Hour of Promise. 2 deserts. So, another Rivulet. And I guess Desert of the Fervent. There! I got a board state. Deal with me. Also, that's still nowhere. Lost Legacy. Bell Spectre. Can't discard a card, so who cares? Yeah, all day. So this will activate Azcanta with a flip. Graveyard. Transform. And send. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This doesn't matter. Everything's going to die. And we get some more insight to our opponent's deck. Some Scrap Heap Scrounger shenanigans going on. That's it. Okay. Oh, this is still going. Never mind. That's what I need to look at. 2 swamps and a glint sleeve. I'm happy to get rid of the glint sleeve and combat. And explodify your board just a little bit, please. Okay. I mean, if you're all in, I guess that works. Ooh, ooh. Conqueror's Galleon. You see a rare and you're like, ooh, and then you see Conqueror's Galleon and you're like, ah. Alright. Opponents on the play, many tattoo. Maybe they ran out of characters and had to go with the single T. In any case, we have double green. We have the Sweltering Suns, Banefire if we need to fire it off early. It does stuff. Our opponent has mulled to 6. We're on the draw, keeping all this just fine. We'll find what we need eventually. So as you may notice, ramp is more of a splash effect in this. Our opponent on white, that will make life, well, white do nothing. Good enough, fine. White green, Johnny's welcome. I see where this is going. Alright, well. Drop your pride, mate, and get wrecked. Bestiary. I mean, if our opponent's going to do straight nothing, then fine. Grow from the ashes and regular. And we're going to go get the next red. So next turn we have Jaya tick up into Sweltering Suns. So do your worst, opponent. Let's see what happens. Or we could just Hour of Devastation depending on how... ew. I mean, this life gain is getting a little insane, but alright. So, Jaya has no real value at the moment, other than to maybe discard a couple cards. And I'm okay with that. Make our opponent play Magic for a bit. If they're going to do all this setup time, then fine. So we'll bin those. Grab a couple extra cards. Look real good! So let's see if they have cast out their 2 cards remaining. Because they've done nothing. Scry to the bottom, so they're either planning to deal with the situation or their hand is a little rough. Either way, what are you going to do about Jaya? Or are you going to do something about Jaya? I mean, they've thrown all this creature synergy out, but they have yet to actually cast a creature. And we're prepared for creatures. Alright, our opponent does nothing. I think we add red, red, red here. And we'll end up getting a couple rivulets so that we can shore up our blue here. Our opponent deciding on whether or not to let us red, red, red right now.
Let's see
there we go.
How you manage this.
Grab colorless, and for that much we can Hour of Promise and put out some creatures. So rivulet and rivulet. And Squee. Let's see if this takes some attention off of Jaya. Spore Swarm. That doesn't phase us any right now. That's a lot of life, though. Let's be fair. That's a ton of life that our opponent gained, and is going to make it a little difficult for us over time. But like I said, this is totally going to be blocks. Don't care. Additionally, we can fight with fire and just clear their board if they're feeling a little... okay, Legion's Landing it is. That's a lot of life. Thrashing Brontodon, which gets nothing, and more life. Our opponent can suicide into things, but our Jaya will go to 8. In which case, then, we double everything. So our opponent's done nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Prepare yourself.
No, seriously, opponent, prepare yourself. Kick a fight with fire. And you, and you. And so these are 1, 1, 1, 1, and 4. Oh, I have more room than I thought. I had more breathing room than I thought. Okay. You, and you. Submit. Alright. 4, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 2 extra points to the dome. Enjoy that! Also enjoy these! Alright, got him back down to 22. Go wide decks don't really phase us, by the way, folks. So, basically, no matter what, unless our opponent removes Jaya, our opponent's not letting us play the namesake of the deck. I can't help but notice. Send. And I think we'll just Chandra. And we'll tick up for the exile effect. We'll tick up for the exile effect afterwards, or like in the next turn. But for now, we're just gonna take advantage of all of this. There, end turn. Plenty of lands, lots of mana. Take out our opponent in various ways. They're still scrying to the bottom. Now they got a Chandra to deal with. That is one of the rarest times I've seen someone respect Jaya. Unless they just happen to have Ixalan's bindings like crazy. Rex Sage. A very sad Rex Sage. Yeah, that's fine. Land drop. Bunch of life gain. Is our opponent going to be stuck on kill an artifact or enchantment? This is a May ability, and every time I see my opponents play them, they tend to forget it exists. So we get stuck at this moment, like this. Now they have to choose one of their own targets, but they don't know that they can choose just their target and say no. So now we're stuck in this situation, which is hilarious to me every time that it says May at the end of the day. But you still have to produce a target. So our opponent's going to be stuck on this for a while. They're going to choose the thing that feels like it's the least... They're stuck. They're stuck. They're absolutely stuck. Rex Sage confuses so many people. Now we could add red for Chandra, and we can keep that in mind. So Chandra for Banefire starts with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But they're at 18. They did find land. Alright. Well, we get Rootbound Crag, and I think we just send in the team. If he blocks, so be it. We have the Spire at the end of the day. So, none of that really matters. But, anyways, look at the top card.
Oh, today's my lucky day.
Compass. Easy. So, they have one green. So, you know what? Let's just protect Chandra at this point. And have double compass in case of a blossoming defense. Or something like that. A Shalai, on the other hand, would be a rough one if they were to pull that out of their hat. So we'll see what they manage to get. This life gain is silly. Seriously? Name a card. It shall be the card that shall be your undoing. Seriously? Yeah. Yeah. So, can't target you. Fine. Spirebluff Canal. Not exactly what I'm looking for, and our discard draw effects are long gone. So, I think we just send in the team. Again. They can block with Shalai all they want, but it's going to kill Shalai. They're going to let it happen. Alright, well, let's take the top card.
It's gonna hurt.
Sure. And, yeah, since it's a why not, we'll go with that. And that leaves us with... Sweltering Suns, I guess. So we're just going to cast Sweltering Suns for the sheer purpose of clearing the board and allowing us to be able to keep our Chandra there for what it's worth. Not to mention, yeah. I want to be able to keep Chandra there through an Hour of Devastation. I could have Hour of Devastations, but let's go with the greed play. Shalai will keep us from Banefiring our opponent. So that's why Hour of Devastation is very relevant here. But I do want to keep the Chandra at the end of the day. Shauna, yeah. We do need to get rid of the Shalai at all costs, of course. Yeah, this life gain, though. A memorial, which is going to make things a little tough. Yeah. Nope. How about no? How about you just stick it home? Good old Spires. Never go wrong with the Spires. Alright, spring off the top. How much do we want to be doing this turn? Well, let's tap our deserts. Okay, that's Hour. Unless I want to do it separately. I think I want to do it separately for now. So add red, red.
This'll be easy.
And Hour of Devastation. Okay, Chandra's still alive. The most problematic creatures on the planet are gone. Now, our opponent is at 10, and we only have one means to be able to take them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana, by the way, which means Squee and Mind are not available at the same breath. So, since we can't do everything with our mana, this is when we spring. And make sure that we have more. And we'll just have Squee out there as this constant thing. So let's see what our opponent manages to pull off. They're scrying everything to the bottom. We just need them to... Well, I mean, they have so many lands. So many. Tendershoot Dryad, that's an easy kill for us. But it's a lot of life. Like, our opponent is gaining a ridiculous amount of life with this Ajani's Welcome. Yes, yes, yes. Anything else? At the end of the day, our opponent is low on cards. We're not really. But we do need something to deal with our opponent's garbage here. And that's an easy one to deal with it with. So that's better than Sweltering Suns in this instance. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 mana. We can make it 16. What does that do for us? Well, this is 9, and this could be the rest of it to gas back up. But in any case, let's tap our deserts and all our special lands, and or you know, just tap the mana entirely. 3, 4, 5,
Yup,
6, 7.
You're going down.
We have the double blue, 8 and 9. Hit a fight with fire, kicked. You, and you. Okay, so 2 to you, 1 to you, because it'll have 1 toughness when Tendershoot's dead, and then the other 7 straight to your dome. Alright. And send Squee in. Okay. Now, he's at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, let's Banefire for 6 and hope that he doesn't have an additional amount of life gain. It's worth it now. Got him. Nice. Nice. Alright, well. When you're tired of playing their game and it's getting out of control, it's like, alright, fine, I'll kill you. How you like that? We'll just end the game. Anyways. Our opponent gave us a really hard time there, for sure. Made us go through some hoops in order to get there, but we got there, nonetheless. Usually the try not to die decks die with the least amount of effort, but the most amount of confusing tricks, as far as I can tell. Things that really change how you have to go about it. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, they still can't seem to get there. The aggressive decks are the ones we have the rougher time with, but as you can see, we are 100% geared towards that, and that alone. Anyways, yeah, that's the deck. Ramp up, kill your opponent. Don't mess around, just kill them. You could mess around, take your pick if you want to. But yeah, clear their everything. And you're done. Take your pick on how you want it to go. But yeah, that's the deck. And I hope you enjoyed, folks. Again, deck list is down in the description, so it's the link for my Discord if you want to join that. We talk Magic, and apparently we're talking survival games recently. But mostly Magic. And you can post your own deck list there. You can see my personal deck list, and just share everything Magic there. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Take care, and bye-bye.